Hey everyone, it's me, Knute here, coming at you with a new Facebook ad snacks video. And if you don't know what these are, guys, these are just quick little videos, tutorials, showing you different ways to navigate the Facebook ads ecosystem, and basically learning all the different little tips and tricks that I have. And guys, the point of this is just to save you a ton when it comes to your budget, everything. I'm just trying to give you a leg up on these. So today we're actually going to be talking about how much or how little you can spend on Facebook ads. And guys, I have to preface this video with basically just saying that there is a huge wide range of how much you can spend or how little you can spend on Facebook. Some people spend $3 per day on Facebook, and some people, guys, they spend 40,000, 50,000 a day, basically. And it's hard to imagine that, but it happens. So, yeah, guys. So that's basically what we're going to be talking about today. But before I jump into it, please do me a favor and smash that like button, guys. I really work hard on these videos, and I will be working hard in the future to bring you more and more tutorials on how you guys can save time, money, and energy on your Facebook ads campaigns. All right, so I'm going to head into it here. So on the screen, we have our prospecting campaign, our example ad sets, A, B, C, D, and F. Basically, I always start with the 5x3 method. This is one thing that Justin Brook, if you follow him, he always says this, to follow the 5x3 method, and I have to definitely agree with him. So I have to owe credit to him on this, but I've always followed this, guys, and it has done me very, very well with Facebook ads. So that being said, this Facebook ad campaign is a prospecting campaign, so it could be basically anything to, it's our top of funnel. So it's getting leads, it's getting purchases right off the bat. So basically we're starting with, if you know much about the structure of an ad campaign, you have your campaign, you have your ad sets, and you have your ads. So I like to do the 5x3 method. So basically we're going to set our campaign budget here. Usually I like to do CBO, like campaign budget optimization. So for those who you don't know, but I usually start with that, and then have Facebook optimize where it wants to put the money into this. Now, here's one thing I want to say. You don't have to use CBO. I just personally like to use it. Some people love to have the control over each ad set and they want to test it out. That's totally fine. I just feel personally that Facebook is really good at figuring out who to spend money on in a given day, better than I am, obviously. So I always recommend having it on, but feel free to do your own thing. And if your campaigns aren't working as good as you hope, then you can always do that as well. So basically we're going to start off with a prospecting campaign, and we're going to build 5 ad sets here. Now, how much to spend on this, guys? It really just depends on who you are. If you are a very local service, let's say you want to spend the minimum amount as possible. I always recommend, for that reason, $15 per day. Because the reason is, we have 5 ad sets here, and we have 3 ads per each ad set. So Facebook, if you gave it anything less than $15 a day, that means you're basically working with pennies on how much a certain ad set is going to get money with. So, or certain ads are going to get money with. So how can you test very efficiently with a very low budget? Well, it gets really hard. So that's why I would say recommend, for a decent testing strategy, you always want to start off with at least $15 per day. The reason is because if you wait somewhere between a week or 72 hours, somewhere in there, you can actually get some data, good data on how much you need to optimize for. And guys, the ads testing process can be very, very lengthy. A lot of times it takes up to 90 days, 2 to 3 months. So that being said, you'll want to have the money to do 15 times 90 days. Basically, you'll want to have 1,000 saved up to be able to make sure you run this well. Now, however, don't let that scare you. This doesn't mean that you have to do that method, and you don't necessarily need to do 90 days. I'm just saying, for best practices, that's probably the way you want to go. The reason being is because 90 days, a lot of times, to kind of fulfill how much testing you need to do, that is kind of a good milestone. Like, you should have it figured out by then. Month 1 is really all about figuring it out. getting data, seeing what works and what doesn't. Month 2 is all about seeing, okay, what does work, and basically building that up a little bit. And then month 3 is all about scaling and seeing how far you can go with those ad sets that do work, or those interest groups or campaigns. All right. So I'm going to start off with saying $15 a day is a pretty good, basically, point to be at. But if you can't do that much, one thing you can always do is, let's say I only have $12 or something like that. Well, you can knock out 2 of these ad sets here, ad set A and ad set B. And basically you will have now just 9 ad sets to work with. Or 9 ads, sorry. So you could, in theory, you could run this with just $9 a day if you're following that. So it's always good, though, to try to test as many interest groups as possible at the same time. And that way you'll actually really get a feel for what's working and what's not as soon as possible. So really when it comes down to it, you're kind of trading off your time for your money. Because let's say you spend $100 in ads per day. Well, this ad set is going to give you a lot of data for that one day or that 3 days that you're testing this. With just a $15 a day budget or less than that, you're kind of, you might not have a very clear picture yet on exactly what needs to be optimized more or what needs to be swapped out. Sometimes it takes longer than that. So that's a big thing. So if you're looking at a long-term approach, that's good. It's just that it might take a little bit longer than you'd hope. All right, so I just want to keep that in mind. Okay, so the next thing. So that's just for our prospecting campaign. But there's another thing in the picture here, and that's your retargeting campaign. So your retargeting campaign also should be $15 per day. Now, I'm not saying that your prospecting campaign, if I had a $15 per day, let's say my budget was $20 or $25 per day in total, right? I would probably take $5 to $10 and basically move it here. So it would definitely not be, it would be 30% less probably than what my prospecting campaign is. The reason is because you need this to be up and running, or this basically has no use. So if you don't have a prospecting campaign first, then this is basically a no-go. So it doesn't even matter. So that's why I would just definitely recommend that you have your prospecting campaign set up and then worry about your retargeting. All right, so let's say you are spending a bit more than $15 per day, right? So this would be really important for you guys to spend at least 10% of your overall ad spend into your retargeting campaign. The reason is because you're going to basically lose money on not having any retargeting. So normally what I like to do is set up an ad set with like Facebook engagers, people who would like, or maybe who follow me, my customer list, or something like that. That's always great. Things like that really bring back your customers, and you're retargeting people who haven't purchased yet or haven't met your end goal. Maybe submitting a lead form or attending a webinar or something like that. So there's a whole lot of different ranges basically that you could have, but that's basically another thing. Now, let's talk about supplemental campaigns really quick too. All right. So supplemental campaigns, besides just your prospecting and retargeting, another type of prospecting campaign that I like to use is my lookalike campaign. So normally these are like interests here, but I also do basically an exact clone of this. And I will take this and make it a prospecting lookalike campaign, and each ad set will be different lookalikes. So for example, I'll do a top 25% of my top 25% engagers or time spent on my website, and I'll do a lookalike 1%. So it'll get me really, really good results that way. You can also do some cool things like, and I'll get into this later, but basically you can take lookalikes of your bad customers too, people who had issues, and you can add them to a list, upload that list, and create a lookalike of that. And the point would be for Facebook to find commonalities between all your bad customers and keep them away from your business, or keep them away from clicking on your ads. So there's that. And then the next thing is, I call it a drip campaign. So basically a drip campaign, and I'll probably make a separate video about this in the future, but a drip campaign is basically just a whole bunch of ad sets. So we could just take this, for example, and it is essentially just a whole bunch of ad sets and a whole bunch of individual ads, right? So this helps because you're able to get right in front of your customer and do this. And so normally I never recommend really this kind of setup. But for this situation, it's really good because the point of it would just be top of mind sort of thing. So you get the point. But basically, we just want to be seen by our customer all the time. And we want them to basically know that we're still existing and that once they do are ready to sign up for a product or purchase our product, basically that they're already thinking of us. It's like unconsciously maybe even, or subconsciously even maybe thinking of buying our product or purchasing our service. So that's a really cool thing. So that's something you can do with, if this was wrapped into one campaign, that's something you can do with a drip campaign, is just create several different videos here or pictures or carousel ads, but just add them to different ad sets. And each one is targeting a little bit slightly different audience. Maybe one is 25% watched video or 50% watched video, and one's watched or clicked on the link or something like that, visited website, something like that. So, and these are all really low budget. You could make a $5 a day ad budget for this or something like that. So really not too much. We're just trying to get some reach, and that would be a reach campaign. It's not optimized for conversions or leads. And so there's kind of a few different things here, guys, I discussed. And really it's up to you how much you want to scale this. But guys, if you want good data, if you want good, fast data, always a sweet spot for me, I would say, for starting off with a sole campaign. This isn't including other campaigns, but a sole prospecting and retargeting campaign, you could do a lot with just $30 or $35 per day. And personally, I wouldn't really want to do any less than that. So guys, I think it's really important that you have that much. And so that's kind of my answer. I would say for somebody just starting off and looking to get into Facebook ads for their service. Now, however, you can totally, bear in mind, you totally can do less. Now, if you're like, hey, like I just want to promote like my photography business or something like that, like I am just a local videographer, I want to get my name out there, you can totally do $3-5 a day. You're just going to need to make those ad sets very relative to how much you're spending. Try not to do too much at one time. Try not to have, basically too many eggs in your basket or whatever you want to say, because it gets really tough for Facebook to really optimize and for you to also optimize for what's working the best and what's working really bad. So, of course, you can take this same kind of setup I've talked about, including the lookalike. And you can definitely use this once stuff goes well. You can definitely use this to either make more prospecting campaigns, targeting more and broader interests if your current ones are doing really well. Or you can create more and more lookalike audiences. You can do different retargeting stuff. And so there's a whole lot. You can get really high up there and target a whole lot of different things. So for some ad accounts I manage that spend thousands per day, this is what we do. We have a very broad range, essentially, of different campaigns that are all pretty specific on what they're trying to target. And so that's just something that I keep in mind with this is, I don't want to have too much money into one campaign, because if things start to die out, then that's not a whole lot of diversity there, and that's not a very good thing. And if I have too little, then I don't know what's working well and what's not. So yeah, guys, it really kind of depends on how much you're spending and how much you're looking to spend per day on ads. So without further ado, that's about it, guys. I would, again, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time in the next Facebook ad snacks video. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. Bye.